So I was asked to make a more close-up, in-depth tutorial on how I do my card slots. I make them out of waterproof canvas. I do not do the fan fold. And yeah, there's less bulk, it's less material, and to me it's a lot faster. And my card slots are always even, whereas when I do the fan fold, they always come out wonky. So what you will need is waterproof canvas. I've not seen somebody do it out of cotton. It needs to be some kind of, non-fraying material. So I use waterproof canvas for the card slots and the backing. You will need a ruler. You'll need a marking pen, some double-sided tape. I use 1/2 inch, and just some scissors. So before you get started, you will use the directions in the pattern to cut your back piece, and you need 2 of these. I can't remember exactly what the pattern even calls for, because this is how I've been making it for a while. So whatever size the back piece is, you will need 2 of those. Now, for the card slots themselves, I made a template. As you can see right here, this is an 8x8 template square. And I made it out of cardstock. So 8x8. So what you'll do is, on this 8x8 square, you'll mark your 8x8 on each side, just for reference. And then you'll need to mark the rest of for your card slots. So here is the 8. Then you'll go down an inch, mark 7. Go down an inch, mark 6. As you can see here. What you'll do is you'll draw a line all the way across at the 7 and the 6, and then you will crease it to where it can be folded, just like that. And that gives you 3 templates in one. So when you go to cut your card slots, you have your 8x8 card slot. You fold over down to the 7. Then you have your 7x8 card slot. Fold down again to your 6. And then you have your 6x8 card slot. And those are your 3 card slots. So, yeah. You cut 1 template, and then there's 1 of each. So you should have a total of 5 pieces. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is make all of our markings. So we're going to set our back pieces to the side, and we're going to flip our 3 card slots to the back. And along the 8-inch side of each piece, we're going to make 1-inch mark on each end. So again, along the 8-inch side, going to measure down 1 inch and just make a mark. Flip it or turn it over again on the 8-inch side. Go down 1 inch and make a mark. Do that for all 3 pieces. Now we're just going to add our double-sided tape along the top edge so we can fold it over. Now, if you don't have double-sided tape, you can do this with clips. I just like to do it with tape. right. So the way I like to do these is I like to just sew one right after the other. So I will pull the tape off, fold it, sew it, and then move to the next one. And you want to pull the cover off the tape and then fold over to match that line. And then we're going to just top stitch an 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Move to the next one. Make sure you back stitch at the beginning and end. And instead of cutting all 3 off, what I will do is cut the first 2. And start working on the other side. So next, I am going to snip the middles. So I'm going to match up the 2 top edge where we just sewed down. I'm going to match them up. Now I'm going to make little snips for all of the middles on each side. And you will also do this to one of your back pieces, not both, just one, along the 8-inch side. So again, I'm just meeting these folded edges over, meeting them up, and I'm just snipping right here in the middle. Just a little snip. I'm also going to do this to one of my back pieces. And if you get confused about what side is what for your back piece, just line them up with your card slot and they should match up. All right, so we're going to lay our back piece down and take our biggest card slot, which is your 8-inch, and lay it on top, matching up these center snips. And we're just going to clip that down. And then what we want to do, which you can go ahead and do it before clipping it down, is take your ruler again and your pen, and we're going to mark 2 inches down from where you just sewn. So from your folded edge, go 2 inches down on each side and make your mark, which it will be easier without this back piece so I can see. So fold it over edge, lay my ruler down, make my mark 2 inches down. Nobody's going to see this. It will be hidden by the other card slots, so I'm not that worried about it. So there's the 2-inch mark. We're going to do this for all 3. Don't worry about doing it to your back piece, just your card slots. Alright, we're not done with our pin yet, or ruler, so just set those to the side. Now, take your back piece and your 8-inch card slot, and we're going to line up those centers again. Make sure I am still on the 8-inch side. Yep, okay. If you have to, flip it over. I'm not the best cutter in the world, so sometimes my lines are off. You just, as long as they meet up in the middle, you're good to go. Now we're just going to top stitch along those 2 lines. Make sure you back stitch. I like to make sure that's nice and flat. You don't want any bulging. And yes, I like to clip my threads for the most part, just because I don't like them in the way. So again, we're going to take our 7-inch card slot, lay it on top, match up those centers. And sew down those lines. Now we're going to take the last one, match them up at the center. And again, sew it down. Now this one I just like to sew down, then sew down, and then sew back across. I'll show you here in a second what I mean. So I'm sewing across those lines, and instead of clipping it this time, I'm just going to come down, go to my next line, and then come back across. So it should look like this now. And if you want to, you can go ahead and test your cards. And there we go. Okay, so what I like to do is I don't do the middle on my back piece. So I'm going to go ahead and sew down the middle on this piece before I attach my back piece. So we want to do 4 inches into the center. I think I have a, what's going on? Okay. So what I like to do is just hold my ruler up to the edge, and to make sure I'm still good on the other side, I'll take another ruler and make sure that it's 4 inches at the other edge as well. There we go. And I'll take my pen and I will just make a mark. And then sew down that line. I will do back stitch at the top of and bottom of every card slot. There we go. So that's what it should look like right now. Now you can, and I think in the instructions she has you do the middle after you add the back piece. You can do it that way. I just don't. So now we're going to take our back piece, our other piece, you know, that we had to cut 2 out of, and we're going to do those right sides together. Make sure you are doing them the right way. There's no overhang, because these are like close. It's not a perfect square, but it kind of looks like a perfect square. So be careful that you are on the same, you know, that it is, what's the word I'm looking for? That they're the right sides together. And I'm just going to clip these so it doesn't move. So there we go. Now we're going to sew down at 1/4 inch along the top and bottom only, just like the pattern says. I think I'm almost out of thread, but we're almost done. All right. So now we can turn it. And we're going to roll these seams at the top and bottom, and I'm going to clip them so I can top stitch. I will add a couple of clips to the sides to hold my card slots down while we sew, because we are going to sew all the way around. So you're going to top stitch an 1/8, and then you're going to sew as close as you can to the sides, just to close up those card slots and close up your whole piece. But you want it real close, because once you add in your flaps, fold over your flaps, you don't want these lines to be shown underneath the flaps. So and there we have it. Your card slots are done. So I hope this helps you get rid of the bulk and get a more perfect card slot. I used to hate making this pattern because I can't stand card slots. So, but now I really enjoy it because it does save fabric. It does save me materials and time. As you can see, this took less than 20 minutes and I talked. So can you imagine how fast you could do it when nobody's talking? So now I'm just like running my card back through just to make sure, and it looks good. So there we go. I hope you enjoyed this video, and If you are not subscribed, please feel free to, so you know when I'm releasing more videos. Thank you.